So welcome everyone. It's Monday, July 22nd. We're solidly in the summer months. Um, and let's see, those of you that are new to this, here's a quick, like really quick primer as to like why do this? How does this fit into what we do at CIT clinics and what I do in the coaching world? Well, the idea is we are what we repeatedly do. So if we can practice certain states of, I'll call them positivity, right? So that means everything from like what we'll do today, mindfulness to gratitude to resilience to all the things that ultimately make being a human being sort of enjoyable, on the far end of the spectrum, or even just endurable at certain times. That this is what we're trying to practice here. So um yeah, and so every day there's a slightly different topic. I try to mix it up a little bit, but it's really intended to just be 15 minutes. So today's theme is mindfulness, and one of my favorite terms for this state of mindfulness that we're trying to activate here is this idea of bare attention. So what's it like to pay attention in a way where it feels like things are stripped of judgments or preconceived notions or ideas, but it's literally just being in direct contact or paying bare attention to whatever's happening, typically in the present moment, right? Because as soon as we wander into the future and start thinking about future things or start remembering the past, we're no longer really in direct contact with what's actually happening. It's more like we're in sort of mind spinny land, and that's usually where our suffering and our pain comes from. So quick definition of what is mindfulness. So the state of, it's an active awareness, right? So I know in this moment that I am paying attention deliberately and intentionally um, to the present moment. And here's the hard part, is without judgment. So on some level, pretty much everything is a judgment, right? So not only, if I say, oh, that person was being rude or they were being disruptive, that's a judgment. Maybe they were just being excited, or, it depends on your vantage point. But then even something like the sky is blue is a judgment, because if there were 10 of us looking at the sky, some of us might say, well, it's actually, a slightly different hue of a different color. And we could, usually what we humans do is we then get into all kinds of arguments about like, no, it's not, and yes, it is, and that kind of thing. So the judgment part is when we notice that process going on within ourselves. And so mindfulness is trying to just drop into the here and now and just notice the activity of the mind and how it has this tendency to pass judgment on pretty much everything. And the more we do that, the better we become at it. So this is this idea of self-directed brain plasticity. So our brain is this machine that we can kind of train. And the way we train it is by doing things intentionally, repetitively. So over and over again, we practice coming back to the present moment. And the more we activate those parts of our brain, the easier it becomes for our mind, or our mind is more predisposed to just living in that space rather than being in this kind of, I'll call it like a knee-jerky reactive state. So this is like the foundational part of this idea of self-directed brain plasticity. Okay, so let's try that. We got about 10 minutes left. Let's start by closing our eyes. And the first thing to try to do is to slow things down by simply focusing on the sensation of what it's like to be right here, right now. So noticing your feet on the ground, noticing the palms of your hands, noticing the lungs breathing, And it sounds so simple, yet it's surprisingly difficult to do. And so you'll probably notice your mind wandering and drifting back into memories or thinking about what's going to happen this afternoon. Again, that's totally normal. And the goal right now is just for a few minutes to see if you can just keep coming back to right here, right now. And if you notice thoughts like, oh, this is hard, I can't do this, see if you can just almost like you're putting a little yellow post-it on them and just saying, oh, that's a thought. That's a judgment. It's not a bad thing. It's just seeing things for what they are. And just keep coming back to this space of non-judgmental awareness, just noticing, being. And again, the mind will inevitably wander at some point. That's just what it does. It's okay. Not a problem. When that happens, just notice it. Like, oh, I just drifted off into thought or memories, and then come back to right here, right now. I'm just sitting, breathing. And again, when the mind wanders, so not if, it's just a matter of time, just just notice it, label it without judgment. Just say, oh, that's thinking, that's remembering, that's anticipating. And then just gently bring your attention back to right here, right now. And one way you can anchor your experience in the present moment is to simply cycle through an awareness of different sensations. So you can notice what the breath sounds like, the breath feels like, your nostrils, your throat, your chest, your belly. You can notice what the eyes are seeing, even with eyes closed. There's shapes and colors and movement. See if there are any smells that you're noticing, any tactile sensations like in the palms of your hands or your skin, sounds. And then last but not least, you can also notice how thoughts are just like sensations, or just like sounds or sight. They just happen. The only difference with thoughts versus sensations is that they feel very personal and we take them very personally. But for right now, see if you can just notice the mind thinking, the body sensing, the ears hearing. If at any point you get lost in your thoughts, notice and then gently bring your attention back to right here, right now. Training this part of our brain and our nervous system is so foundational to our ability to notice when we're upset or hurt, or lost in thoughts, sad. What is it that we're feeling anxious about? Right? It gives us a way in to simply notice what's going on in the mind. And once we notice it, we can then begin to choose how to do things differently or behave differently. And once again, the mind wanders, just notice and gently bring it back to the sensation of just being in the present moment, breathing, sitting. And then maintaining that sense of awareness, let's take a deep breath in, long exhale through the mouth, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep inhale, long, slow exhale, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then go ahead, open your eyes, and come on back to the session. We're out of time for today. Invitation is to see if you can maintain that sense of sort of background vigilance, I would call it, is to just noticing like, oh, what is it that I'm sensing or thinking or remembering, or and just see if you can be aware of it all as the day passes. Hope that was helpful. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Take care, everyone.